What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're finally free. We don't have to deal with all these
Halfway free.
dang yeah, halfway free. But the console has been revealed. It is the Nintendo Switch 2. We got a first look trailer, so let me pull that up. I find it interesting that there are a bunch of people saying that, "Oh my god, they just shadow dropped this," and I'm like, I mean, it depends on how on the internet you are.
There.
I did think for a little, I guess product preview, I'm like, oh, I like all the animations and whatnot. As
Yeah, the
someone,
animations were cool.
yeah, as someone getting into 3D, I'm like, I know this is hard to make. I
As soon
appreciate the
as
effort.
we started doing motion design in Unreal, I was like, oh, this would have been a nightmare for
Yeah,
me.
yeah. Went with this right off the bat, more colorful, but still kind of neutral in a way console. Because like it's still like pretty much black, but it has like the accents with color,
Mhm.
which I like actually.
Missed opportunity not calling it the Super Nintendo Switch.
You know, I agree. I feel like it keeps getting louder every time I start talking. But I do agree that I would have loved for it to be called the Super Nintendo Switch, but I also see how that could cause some confusion. I felt like that probably would have been a better name for like a Switch Pro, because then it's like, oh, it still has Switch in the name, like you kind of get the relation, but I don't think it necessarily is iterative in name. And yeah, it could have been confusing for people.
Yeah, I feel like though, like true Nintendo heads and true gamers just in general would have understood where that was coming from.
Yes, Trayvon. This is Nerd with
I,
the Tech. Surprise guest.
Yeah, I didn't know anybody joined.
Hi. Um, I don't know. So my comments about it is just it's an update.
Hmm.
I can't wait to see what's under the hood. That's what I'm really most interested in. We've pretty much seen all these images everywhere. Like I've had the last 6 months. I don't know. So pretty much confirmed it all. Now I just want to see what's inside. That's really where I'm at.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you. I think it's kind of strange the way that they went about this as far as just having a hardware showcase. I can't even really say tech because we still don't know anything about this console just about, but just showing off some of the changes that they've made just from a visual perspective, with it being bigger and having a little bit more of a, I guess, modern, almost more maybe mature design, with going with the mainly like blackish grayish with accents of color. So yeah, there's definitely a lot still that they have to share with us, but the fact that it's a real thing now, it's been confirmed. It's not just like a leak that's living out there in the wild. That's nice to not have to deal with that anymore.
It's almost like they were like, well, they already told it anyway, so we're just gonna drop this, confirm it. We'll be back a couple months. Bye.
Yeah,
That's what it's like.
basically. There were some other things in the trailer that we didn't address, so I'll just address those really quick. About like the backwards compatibility, they did state
Mhm.
that before, so that's not new information, but it's good to have it reaffirmed. It did say that not all games will be backwards compatible. I assume that, or at least I hope, a bulk of those would be because of the any games that involve the sensor that is no longer in the same spot. On the Switch One, there's like a sensor on like I think it's the right nunchuck, like at the bottom, and now it's like on the insides of both of the Joy-Con, not nunchuck, Joy-Con. So there's that, and then they also are gonna have a Nintendo Direct where I assume we're gonna be getting the information that we were looking for on April 2nd, as well as some demo events that follow that. So, um, yeah, I I'll let somebody else speak for a minute. I have things. I have a lot of things I want to say.
I'll speak to it because I came into this with the realizations I'll probably never own another Nintendo console.
Really? Never?
They will have to show something that blows me away. And like Metroid Prime 4 almost got me there. And then I was like, do I really want to spend 300, maybe 400, maybe 450, whatever these rumors land, on a new console to play that? Because getting third-party games that are already on other systems doesn't move the needle for me. Like, I know there are a contingent of people who are like, oh yeah, it's gonna get X, Y, and Z game that are on other consoles, and it's like, cool, I can already play those if I want to now. That doesn't move the needle for me. Mario, I used to really love. That doesn't really move the needle to where I'm like, I really need this console for it. And all that thing considered, it really leads me like, I'll probably never own one. So where my interest kind of lied in wanting to see it was mainly from the tech side. Obviously, I always love to see new tech, but a healthy Nintendo, a healthy gaming competitor is good for the gaming industry as a whole. So I wanted to see what kind of they were going to have in the future, just to sort of see, well, how are they going to capture, like, yeah, they'll capture their fans, but how are they going to capture the new audience? How are they going to continue to grow for the new audience? And honestly, this didn't give me anything because we don't have any specs. I can't, like, it looks beautiful. Like you said, it looks more mature. It looks sleek. It looks ready for the new age, but that's only half the battle.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone was saying, "Oh man, the Switch is so ugly. I don't want to buy it." Last generation, it was
Fair.
Towards the end, it was, well, I feel like I'm 3-4 generations back, and it was the power. It was, what can you do to make me feel like I'm playing a modern console?
Yeah. Trayvon, you have anything else? I guess.
The last time I bought a console based off of one game was the Spider-Man game that was on PlayStation. Marvel Spider-Man. So that was I literally bought that system for that. So that was, something that I did. This one, like the first Switch, I didn't buy it until Odyssey came out. So, they came out with the Switch and I was like, oh no, it's not worth it yet. I need a new, I tell you guys all the time how much I love Sunshine. So I wanted, another Mario game that expansive. And when Odyssey came out, I was like, okay, this for me. Love that game. So I'm waiting to see what they do for that. Mario Kart ain't gonna do it for me.
That's
I need another big Mario game.
Smash Bros ain't gonna do it for you. That's the other one, right?
I mean, if all y'all are gonna play it, sure. If the group, everybody's getting it, yeah, let's play. But
oh well, I already told you, I'm not getting it.
I'm more of a, if I don't have that, I need a single player game that I want to enjoy by myself.
Right.
Yeah.
I get you.
So I need that. So I'm hoping for that. Hope they reveal something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be excited if they have the power, behind it now, where it can do some of the bigger games. That'll be cool. I think that should be what it does. I mean, there's a lot of handhelds coming. I mean, if the PlayStation and the Xbox stuff is, true, they might have one soon.
Yep.
I don't consider the Portal one. Sorry. But yeah. But yeah, Steam Deck, ROG Ally, all those out here, before the Switch was the only one out here. Now they're not. So let's see what they bring.
Yeah, no, there's definitely that. That is definitely a big factor. I think for me especially, talking about titles that we would have been interested to see with a launch, and I guess like even in the title of this video for Nintendo, it's like the first look trailer is not even necessarily like launching the Nintendo Switch 2, because they didn't really bring any games to the table except for possibly Mario Kart 9. They didn't say that it was Mario Kart 9, so I don't want to say it is when it isn't. It looks like it probably is, but I don't know. I could be wrong. But yeah, the game for me that would get me interested is, of course, Zelda, for people that have been watching this channel. Huge Zelda fan. I'm also open to checking out new franchises as well. But Zelda's the franchise for me where I like Nintendo really has my wallet, I guess, as far as that commitment goes. But when it comes to the power, I think it'll be interesting because some of the rumors have said that, like, you know, they're gonna bring games like Red Dead 2 or I forget what's some other ones, like
Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy Rebirth.
yeah, like
Rework, yeah.
Rebirth, I know. But you know, some games like that. And it's interesting to have that, if this is true. It's interesting to have that as a part of your like launch lineup when those are older games that people have probably played on a different system already. So I'm wondering, I guess, what is gonna be their it factor in that regard as far as specs as to why it's so powerful now that they can bring it over. It's not that I don't believe that Nintendo has decided to like move away from, you know, staying on the simpler side of things and bringing the power this time around, but that would be a really big leap, I think, to go from being in the like Xbox, I think it was like one or maybe not even one, Xbox 360 era as far as like the Nintendo Switch is concerned, and then jumping all the way up to like an Xbox One or Xbox One S or PS4 or PS4 Pro. Like that would be a huge leap. And especially something that would be really impressive just to be able to carry with you handheld for sure. But it's still, you know, compared to the other consoles that are in the market, it's not going to be as powerful. So that's really where my skepticism lies with that and being able to engage in third parties in a meaningfully different way. I currently I don't know how they're gonna do that, but hopefully April 2nd they can talk a little bit about like the specs, even though I don't think that's inherently a Nintendo thing to do, you know, like they've always been about like the games and bringing the fun to things. As of the past few years, they've been kind of criticized lately on the power front when it comes to some of their consoles. Understandably, or not consoles, their games, which is understandable because, you know, it's been 8 years or so things are gonna, you know, the hardware is gonna start to show its age. But yeah, we'll have to see. I see Mike is also joined in the chat.
I think they're almost Apple like in how they do their things. Like they talk about specs in terms of how much better it is than their previous iteration, where it's like, you know, they're assuming you're already in their ecosystem, so it's, oh, if you like the Switch, well, now you're going to get X amount of percentage better, games are going to run this much better. And it's like also in the vein of Apple, it's what does that mean in real world, you know, terms.
Yeah.
Comparing apples to apples, no pun intended, is great, but the apples aren't only in just your game, like there are other consoles. So again, unless you're just trying to convince every Nintendo Switch buyer to upgrade to the Nintendo Switch 2, which is a full yeah, I was gonna say maybe not.
Oh, your mic is toast. Oh no. You gotta get one of those bread mics instead. No, you're fine. You're fine. Just wanted to give you the opportunity to say something if you were waiting. Because it seemed like he was gonna say something earlier and then he muted, but apparently the mic, Nintendo is silencing him. That's so sad. But But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's not a whole lot to chew on with this first look, right? It's just like really just looking at like the new hardware that we got and what is assumed to be a preview of Mario Kart 9. There has been some talk about I guess just like costumes and the way that Donkey Kong looks, which I'm whatever about. I'm more interested in the like 24 player Mario Kart idea, even though I would realistically not do that. But to have like the ability to have 24 players in a game um is interesting, and it makes me think about, I guess, what kind of hardware capabilities you have to make that happen. Is that something difficult? Could they have done that on the Switch One? I don't really know, but
I mean, I would assume it'd be online play, so I would have thought
Mhm.
they could have been able to. Like, swear, I feel like 360 era. If you're figuring that's probably the era that Switch hardware would have been.
yeah.
I feel like there were definitely games that had that many people on screen.
Yeah, like even if you think about existing Nintendo Switch 1 games, like Smash Ultimate, you could have 8 fighters locally play at the same time. So like, going from 8 to 12 is, or not 12, 24.
8 to 24, yeah.
Yeah, that's a jump. That's a jump. So it's definitely not going to be
Triple, yeah.
it's definitely not going to be local, but speaking of like having all those people play at the same time, the controllers and the accessories. That's one I I'm a little concerned about what's going on with that, because I'm not a Joy-Con collector by any means. In fact, I only got another pair of Joy-Con. Well, I got another pair of Joy-Con for 2 reasons. The main one was definitely, I got the Splatoon ones because they're like kind of watermelon themed. Well, they're not watermelon themed, but it's green and pink, and I was like, I like that, so I got it. It was that, and my original Joy-Cons were drifting, so I'm hoping that they, number one, address the drift issue regardless of what's gonna happen with previous Joy-Con. But number two, can you use previous Joy-Con on this new Switch?
They said software was backwards compatible.
Listen,
not hardware. You didn't see anything about hardware backwards compatibility.
It's not even just the Joy, because I have a Pro controller, because I was tired of the drift, so I just got a Pro controller to get rid of that. So I'm like, do I have to buy another Pro controller? Or
Now, hold on, the Pro controller better work now.
that's what
Pro
I'm saying.
controller, I feel like probably will.
See,
But
well,
all
the
you
Pro
people who got
controller. Go ahead.
All you people who got the Joy-Cons, who got all the extra ones, this pink and green one. I know, like, I think my nephew has a blue and red. I don't know if that's standard. It's like a navy blue one. I don't know, like all of those. Nah, you're not using those. The Pro. Now in the comments here, Mike is saying that they were in the Switch reveal, but not in the Switch 2. I mean, so the reveal.
I was about to say, because this is a first look trailer. What was the Switch one? What was the title of that video? What was the title?
You have to feel like, that's the thing. Like this whole trailer, whatever you want to call it, is very much them putting themselves under. Cause they came out and said, "Hey, we're gonna have it by fiscal year end."
Yeah.
That's very.
That was strange. Yeah, I'm curious. They should actually talk about that in the April 2nd direct, whether they're gonna have some earbuds or something. They probably will have some earbuds or some headphones. that are Bluetooth enabled. Well, I hope Bluetooth enabled.
At least you got a headphone jack still.
Yeah,
So it's good.
which I thought was interesting because I guess just like society has mostly moved past like wired headphones. I haven't personally, but for the most part, a
Like,
lot
with
of people have.
cell phones, like most laptops still have them.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
like I
but
feel like it's just cell phones. It's so I get it. Cell phones are so ubiquitous with society now. Everybody has one. It's always with them. It feels that way. But I feel like there are still a very good number of devices that you can still plug in a hardwired headphone.
Yeah.
that is fair. Let me see. Mike in the chat dropped the original Switch reveal trailer. Different naming, you see. So
But this is from GameSpot.
this is from
Nintendo's on there.
GameSpot. Let
No,
me
I'm
see.
sure.
Hold on.
Oh, no,
It's
this
probably
one-
the same.
No, I'm sure it is. And look, it's about as short, but this one, look,
They had a whole production.
like there are people here.
I think they
this
will
might be
have
this-
this.
Yeah, I'm about to say this might we'll get later.
Yeah, I think they
yeah.
will have this. But
I timestamped it for you just so you can see the controller. getting
Oh.
through.
I mean, it's only 3 minutes. We'll just run the whole thing. Screw it. Why not? Memories.
Cool.
I appreciate the thought though. But yeah, no, I don't know. The thought of not being able to use my Pro controller is frustrating. It's frustrating, especially
think there's
because
solid
they kind of pushed me to that. I would have never bought a Pro controller had it not been for the drift. I know it wasn't an intentional design, or at least, it wasn't intentional, but Nintendo, please do the right thing. The other thing, speaking of do the right thing, I am glad that they changed the kickstand. They did change it with the OLED model, which was great because the kickstand was not super effective on the original Switch. But speaking of the OLED model, I'm hoping that this system also has an OLED screen. I don't know if I really don't think it's
It's
too much to
better.
ask. Yeah,
Better.
you would
Can't go
think.
back. Can't go back now.
I agree,
Yeah, but
but I want y'all to be ready.
Not
For
trying
that.
to derail the conversation, but has anybody ever used their Switch the way that this ad has been pitching the Nintendo Switch?
No.
It's
not
so
personally.
Funny looking back. Nobody's played 2K in the park. Come on now.
No.
No, that's a wild game to be playing.
You know,
It's like
actually, hold on a second.
mid-basketball game?
I've seen people play it like that. There's a Nintendo club of people in New York, and those are the people that played it like that. But for the general public, no, I have not seen them use the Nintendo Switch in this way.
Gaslighting us into thinking roof parties was going to be a thing. Come on now.
Listen, maybe this
I
generation.
also am not bringing I'm not bringing my Switch to a party.
I mean, you might. I brought my. I played Mario Party on my Switch. We brought it and played Mario Party. But...
It would specifically yo, we're coming to game night. Like, I'm not whipping it out at a party. Like,
Yeah, no, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I know, you're right. Yeah. I wouldn't just bring it to a party or to the club. Wow. What a time to be alive this was. It was so different then.
It was.
And yes, they do have the controller prominently displayed in this.
not only prominently, many times.
See, but that's the thing. Okay, actually, you know what? I feel like this is more likely to be the case. It's not that they're not going to have support for the Pro Controller. They're going to have the Pro Controller 2 with haptics, and maybe that's just it. Maybe just haptics, because I think they kept the Pro Controller pretty simple.
They're definitely going to just have a new controller. I mean, every console makes you buy a new controller pretty much, so I don't think it's going to be that shocking. Like, nobody's using their PlayStation 4 controllers, on a PS5.
Yeah,
true.
but I
This is
feel
true.
like, I don't know, why would you do that? Because it's like the DualSense is I don't even remember what the other one was called, the PS4 controller, but it's like it's
Dual
better.
Shock.
The Dual
But
Shock,
you can use it though, right? You can.
I have no. I threw mine.
I don't even know.
maybe.
You might be able to. Hold on.
I
I'm
feel
not
like
even
you
sure.
probably can. Probably.
But probably only for PS4 games, right? Probably.
Oh,
probably
I don't even know about.
Yeah. According to Google, it says only on backwards compatible games. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Which will probably be the same for the Pro controller.
Well,
Better than nothing.
it's different on
Better
Xbox.
than nothing.
I mean, it is also worth noting that PlayStation doesn't make you buy a second controller either. Like, we only buy Pro controllers because nobody likes Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Out
yeah,
of the
pretty
box,
much.
PlayStation's giving you a controller, so hopefully the Joy-Cons are just better.
Right. I was gonna say, yeah. Theoretically, it's the same here. It's the anticipation that those aren't going to be great.
See, even with if they had absolutely no drift at all, I wouldn't feel obligated to get a Pro controller, but I would probably, if I have to buy another one, I would probably still get a Pro controller just because the way that the Joy-Con, like when you put them in that controller configuration thing, like it was kind of awkward, at least for me in my hands. And I don't have, my mom says I have baby hands. You're wrong, Mom. I have petite hands. And these controllers are bigger than the existing Joy-Con, or I guess the version 1 Joy-Con. So yeah, I definitely, I need a Pro controller in my life, for sure.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, accessory wise, I'm very curious to see like how that's all gonna go down. I already know you're not gonna be able to use your carrying case or anything like that anymore, so I gotta get a new carrying case. I guess that's par for the course. I'm trying to think. The backwards compatibility thing, I'm kind of wondering, will they do what they did with the DS, where I think like one generation of the DS had like a cartridge with a squarish shape, and then the next generation had a squarish shape with a notch, and that's how you differentiate like what generation of game that you have. I wonder if they'll do something similar, or if it's just going to be like pretty much the same cartridge. I don't think it will be, because I think the cartridges evolve like as the system gets more powerful, but
I mean, they got to hold bigger games. I would hope that they got some kind of upgrades to it where it can hold,
Mm-hmm.
I think in the wait, let me go back to that backwards compatible picture.
It looked like the same cartridge.
Yeah.
It's what it looked like,
But I think it was the same cartridge because it was a Nintendo Switch game that you put into your Switch 2.
Yeah, it was just Mario Wonder showing.
Oh yeah, it sure was. Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't know what those cartridges will look like per se.
Hey, design-wise, I guess they might look slightly different, but like they'll still be the same shape, right? Because they have to go on the same port.
I guess that's what I'm saying. Like the DS one generation had like the square thing with a little notch on the end. Just I don't know what the notch. I guess it was easier to like pull in and out, but it'll probably have the generally same shape. Ugh, look at this. But I don't know. It's definitely today was an interesting day in terms of, I guess, just finally getting this out officially and kind of putting some commentary around Nintendo's plans to rest. Not most of it, but some of it. Yeah, now it's just waiting for the details of what's going to be going on, and probably get a look at, I assume, some first party games. Probably Mario Kart will be up there at the very least, but I don't know. Do you guys have any? I know, dude, you're not gonna get the console at all, but if you could like throw a game out there that you're like, oh, I would play this if I got the Switch too. Like, what games would it be for you all?
It's crazy because the game is already coming out, and I think that's what made me realize I have no interest in getting it. Is Metroid Prime 4. If
Mm.
anything,
You would get a Switch One?
I know. Yes, I was
A
just about
cheap
to say,
Switch
like, I
One?
know
Yeah.
I know it's going to be so much cheaper now.
Yeah.
I can get that and get Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, that's fair.
For me, like I said, a Mario game. I don't know, like something Odyssey like, Sunshine like.
Mm.
So that's just what I'm anticipating. Because I will get this. I just want to know what the trade is gonna look like, so I can trade in this OLED.
Even
That's all.
then, that's another thing where like how they're gonna transfer the data from your current console to the next, like how that's gonna work. I know for I think it is Xbox, for sure PlayStation, you have to have like their online subscription in order to access cloud saves. So I don't know if Nintendo's gonna be like, hey, you have Nintendo Online, transfer process will be easy. If not, have fun.
Cloud saves
Like, I
are
don't know.
through Nintendo Online, right? I'm pretty sure.
I have no idea. I've only ever had one Switch, so I have no clue. I would think so in modern gaming, but I have no idea.
Yeah, it's through the Nintendo Switch Online subscription.
But are those
Saves
cloud
there.
saves for
Well, again, like I was telling
Nintendo's?
y'all before, they
Mm.
don't work very well, but like it will still probably be through that service.
But
where
are
you can
mhm.
good.
I was gonna say, are those saves for the games that are in that service, like the retro games, or is that for everything in the Switch catalog?
That's
No,
for
it's
everything in the
everything.
catalog.
It's for
It
everything.
says your
Okay.
game data.
Oh, that's good.
It's
What's
Yeah,
and
it's
annoying
to
never-
about
Mike's
it is
point.
that the games will transfer.
Mhm.
The game data, that's where we have an issue. Like we'll be able to get Animal Crossing, but your village might not make it through. You know,
And
it's like ugh.
That's the issue because to Mike's point, that's the first thing when I went to the data cloud on their website, you can back up automatically and move between systems.
Mm.
It says that you're supposed to be able to pick up right where you left off in game by downloading your data. And doesn't sound like from anecdotal evidence that works very well.
Yeah, look into that. See what the options are.
I'm gonna be honest though, there were like 3 or 4 games on my PlayStation moving from console to console that it did not pick up right where I left off.
Mm.
I wasn't back. I didn't have to start completely brand new, but like I knew that there were parts of the game that I had played that I was further back and I was like, what is this? And so I don't know in that case if I just didn't upload correctly. Like that's the other part of it where
Yeah.
it's like, I could have just not uploaded correctly. In Mike's situation, it sounds like it just flat out didn't work. Like,
It's a lot. So
Yeah.
that's my concern. Where it's like the Switch, like the console itself, like this trailer itself was fine. You know, it
Mhm.
looks cool. The screen's bigger. The controllers look bigger. That's great. I like how they handled the bezels on the screen, where it's like, yeah, they're still there, but they're not as obnoxious, I guess, as they could have been. But it's really just the software of it all, I guess. The games, how we can transfer data, because it being backwards compatible is important. But how does that work? Because if you lose 100 hours on your Zelda games, right, or you lose all your progress in Animal Crossing, does it even matter if it was backwards compatible at that point?
Yeah. That's very, very good question. I have to look into it myself because I don't know. That's something that, as somebody that has a lot of their, I guess, games on the Xbox side of things, like Xbox has actually done a really great job with being able to go between platforms and still having like your save and everything is like up to date. And that's something that I think PlayStation is also trying to adopt between like playing between the console and the computer. So hopefully Nintendo can kind of follow suit. Because yeah, on Xbox it's kind of like I downloaded Signalis, for example, on my Series X, and then I also downloaded it on my Xbox One at home. And so I played through pretty much the whole game on my Xbox One, and I came back here just to check and see, like, oh, if I wanted to come into the game to do something, like, what can I do? And it literally had, like, everything that I had done on my other console. So I'm hoping it'll be as easy as that, where there won't have to be a process. I don't know if that will be the case. I've dealt with a couple of processes trying to get things over on my Switch, but that's I think the ultimate goal is just like make things as easy as possible for people to continue playing the games. You know, you don't want to add a barrier as to why like, oh, I won't upgrade to my Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever. I'm over it. I'm gonna put the system down and walk away. Oh, so we'll have to see. But I know Trayvon said a Mario game as far as like what he would like to see. Me personally, you know, definitely a Zelda game. I honestly I don't know what they could do to, I guess, continue to evolve. I'm just here for the ride. I've enjoyed everything I've seen so far, so I'm just here for the ride. And then Mike, I think we talked about this on Discord a little bit, that you also wanted to see a Mario platform if you picked up the system. Wanted to see like a Mario platformer kind of game.
Yeah, I mean, we've been waiting for Metroid Prime 4 forever. And that's one of the reasons where it's like, I don't know if I want this console, because I know we'll finally get it, but it's also like, I've been waiting for like 8 years, it feels like.
Yeah.
So like that, but you know, another Mario, of course, is always welcome. Another Zelda is welcome. So, but also we went a whole generation without a proper Donkey Kong game, so that's one we need to focus on. And I want to know what they do with Smash Bros. It's not my favorite game, but you're gonna have to evolve or reboot at this point, because like once you hit Ultimate, there's nothing you can do, I think, to build on top of that iteration of the game. So you're gonna have to just come at it completely fresh and unique. So I'm excited to see if they attempt to tackle that, or if it's just gonna be a port. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. There's been rumors about a lot of different, like, whether it's a port or remakes for different Switch 1 games, which would honestly be nice to see, just like how that game can be elevated when it comes to the Switch 2. But there are a lot of concerns as well around like how you're going to bring your library with you and not kind of have to start over as you've done in previous Nintendo generations, going from generation to generation. So I think this will be probably a learning experience for Nintendo with, I would say, this console maybe bridging the gap between the Switch era, which was really great, and not this coming console, but the next console, where they're really gonna try and like make that big step again, in like a Wii type fashion or like a Switch type fashion, like what they're gonna kind of move towards. I appreciate you all for coming in and kind of sharing your opinions and your thoughts and dreams and maybe worries about the Switch 2. So I'll start with you, Didge. Appreciate you for coming through. Where can the people find and support you?
You can find me at DidgeD in all places. Also over there on the Geekset podcast, and just check my social media. That'll be where you'll get any updates on anything that's coming out and whatnot.
Excellent. What about you, Trayvon? Where can they support you?
Nerd with the tech everywhere. So TikTok while still here. I don't know how long, as on
Yeah, this is recorded before the band deadline.
Well, guess we'll see what happens. I'm also on Blue Sky as well. I'm on the Unhealthy and Unstable podcast. We just did one yesterday. We'll be there every Wednesday on YouTube, Twitch, everywhere. Yeah, that's it for me. Oh, I might be streaming Dragon Age tomorrow. So yeah. So yeah, I will stream. Let me say that I will stream Dragon Age
Oh,
on Friday.
commitment. It's on
Yes,
record.
Yes, it is.
We'll hound you if you don't. All
All
right. Mike, where can the people find and support you?
Yeah, you can find my written work at collider.com, and I'm on social medias, except for X, at Novice Cinephile. The Novice Cinephile on Instagram.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you all for watching. Please let us know in the comments down below. Were we out of line? Do y'all totally agree with some things that we said? And what are your hopes and dreams and maybe fears for the Switch 2? I would say the official launch of the Switch 2 that we have coming up in April. Definitely let us know. But yeah, until next time, hopefully you guys have a nice evening or night. Whatever's enjoy. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.